I've come to the conclusion that this most likely is rye flour, just based on what it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that theory. I do have gluten flour because I'm going to be using whole wheat and rye, and they don't have the same type of protein structure as an all-purpose flour. So I'm going to measure out a total of 300 grams of flour. 200 grams is going to be just whole wheat. And that's what I'm doing here. Yeah, just a smidge more. After this, I'll be adding gluten flour, a big spoonful. It gets a bad rap, but the protein of gluten flour is what gives bread its structure. Then I'll add a spoonful of dark rye. And then I'll be measuring out the rest of the 300 grams of all-purpose flour. Now we'll be measuring out 100 grams of water, which we'll be adding to our poolish. And to that we'll be adding our soakers. And this we will mix and incorporate well together. I'm doing this with one hand, so I'm probably going to finish this off camera. But you get the idea. You fold this in until it's pretty much nicely incorporated. Now I'm going to dust the work surface with that flour mixture we had, and I'll be putting it into the mix and creating a nice little dough. I try to avoid sticking my fingers in for as long as possible because at this point it's really sticky. Here it's done, and we'll be adding it to my surface. I kneaded it off camera for the most part, but I figured I'd do a little bit of my one-handed kneading here. You know, you want the dough to be nice and springy, pretty much. And then after this, you let it rest for an hour. Once it's rested, you're going to fold it. I do this extra step because I want to... I worry about kneading the dough, and I really want that those gluten structures to form because of all the seeds that I add. And I let this rest for another hour. Once I'm done, cover it and rest. After that, I add water to the oven and I preheat my oven. And we'll be preheating it to 470 degrees. This takes me a while to do because if I hold down the button too long, it can go too high. It's very finicky. And during this 15 minutes, I go and I shape my bread into like these logs. And once I'm done shaping them, I pretty much just cover them with a dish towel, a clean dish towel, and yeah, I just leave them to rest while the oven preheats. So, you know, you don't want the water evaporating. So we're gonna wait out these 11 minutes and come back. Now I'm scoring the bread because if you don't score the bread, it'll crack. And even when I score it, sometimes it still kind of cracks because I don't do it deep enough or whatever. Now we're gonna stick that bread in the oven and we're going to program it to 470 for 15 minutes. And again, you know, I have trouble with this oven and the timer and all that stuff. After the 15 minutes is up, we come back and we lower the temperature to 440. And then I bake it for an additional 25 minutes. And here I am again, struggling with the timer. after this is all done, you got some nice fresh loaves of bread. And I'll show you what the insides look like. See? Perfect crumb, perfect crust, and a ton of seeds. Delicious.